Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here. So I'm excited to share with you our topic for today, which is universities that are waiving IELTS and TOEFL for international students. Listen, I have done several videos on this channel just to give you all ideas on the things that you can do to save money, like tuition-free universities, no application fee universities. Those are things that help you save money, right? Another thing that can help you save money and borderline save you the annoyance, especially if you're from an English-speaking country, when they're asking you to prove that you can speak English. It's extremely annoying and it's expensive too. That is what we are going to be discussing today. Remember, all these universities are going to be in my 2023 scholarships database. So if you have not had access to the database, I implore you, do well to sign up. The link is in the description box. Sign up. It's going to send your details to me and I am going to grant you access to the database. That database has so many things: bachelor scholarships, masters, PhD, postdoc, tuition-free universities, scholarships when you have limited funding to study. Like, the database has a lot. No application fee. All of them are in the database. So I definitely implore you to sign up so you can get access to the database and public service announcements. I work with students one-on-one from the start of your scholarship application right through till the end, okay? I've gotten 4 fully funded scholarships, so I sort of have an idea of what I'm doing when we are working with scholarships, like to help you stand out from the crowd. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, there's a link in the description box. Click on it and I am going to be extremely happy to work with you throughout the process of applying for scholarships. For now, we are going to be discussing universities that are waiving TOEFL and IELTS for international students. And I'm taking you through a journey from the UK to Sweden to Australia to Canada to the USA. We are going to be covering universities in all of those places that actually waive IELTS or TOEFL for international students. So grab your pen and a paper. Let's get right into it. Alrighty, so we are going to begin in the UK and we are discussing the University of Warwick in the UK, okay? So here we are at the page of English language information and entry requirements. And of course, it tells you so much details about it. You all go ahead and read about it. But it says here, you may sufficiently satisfy the English language requirements of your course if you are a national of an English-speaking country recognized by UK visa and immigration. So please do want to check, which means they have a list. Or you have been educated entirely in English in a UK visa and immigration or English-speaking country for the duration of your degree and completed this qualification within the last 2 years and 4 months before the start of your course, okay? Which means that if you've studied in an English-speaking country, if you've studied in English, you can definitely apply for it. You can definitely apply for that. You should be waived and not, you don't have to submit that. But also, please do want to make sure that you check these UK visa and immigration countries, because sometimes they get very sketchy with it. So check on it to make sure that your country is on it. Even if your country is not on it, you have studied in English, so you can definitely provide that proof. So our first one is the University of Warwick in the UK. Moving on, our next university, we are still in the UK and we are going to be discussing the University of Bristol. So this is their English language requirements for study. They say you need to have achieved a required English language to qualify for a place for the course. There's all of this information. And then now let us figure out where is the place where they talk about all right, different courses need different profiles of language skills. We refer to the skills profile. The tests and levels you need to achieve need to meet the requirements on our English language. English language proficiency test should be obtained within 2 years, okay? Or if you are from or have studied it in an English-speaking country, you may not need to provide additional evidence of your English language ability. So just make sure that you reach out to them, tell them about your background, where you've studied and everything, and then see if they can waive it. Because sometimes, as I said, you see some lists that they say that they are going to be waiving English language requirements, and they specifically state US, Canada, Australia, and that's it. And I'm like, really? Is that all? Is that all? Britain colonized the whole world, you know. Anywho, that's not what we're talking about. let's move on. The next university that we are going to look at is Lund University. So Lund University has the English requirements here, and it says that most Lund University degree programs, this is in Lund University, I think this is in Sweden, I think so, yes. Most Lund University degree programs and courses require what is called an English level 6 or advanced language proficiency, which is mostly demonstrated in the following ways. You have IELTS, you need to have a score of 6.5, TOEFL, internet-based 20, that's the score they're looking for, and then through previous upper secondary studies or previous university studies. So if you have studied in English, you can just submit your documents to Lund University and they are going to waive that IELTS or TOEFL certificates that they are asking for. All right, you do not have to show it. Okay, moving on, we go to Denmark, and here we are at University of Copenhagen, and you have the language requirements page. So it says here, applicants to an English taught master's degree programs at the Faculty of Humanities are required to document their English language proficiency in accordance with the language requirements for admission. Here they are discussing you are exempt from submitting an English proficiency test if you can document that you have an international baccalaureate diploma or European baccalaureate diploma, which includes one of the following courses: English B, English 1A1, whatever. I studied English when I was in the university at my undergraduate level, and I hope that regardless of whatever country that you come from, if you can speak English and you studied English as a language when you were in university, your transcripts should definitely be able to show that. So you can definitely go ahead and submit your transcript to them and say, see, I studied English language and actually studied in English. So please, Copenhagen University, please waive this IELTS that I'm going to spend so much money to apply for. Alrighty, now let us move on to Australia. Now we start with the University of Queensland, Australia, and we are on their English language page, okay? So it says here, meeting the minimum requirements, the English language test. You can demonstrate your English language skills by achieving at least 6.5 as the usual, then the acceptable scores. And then it says you can also meet our English language requirements if you can demonstrate one of the following: completed senior secondary schooling from a designated country where the medium of instruction is English. End of story. End of story. Then they have another list there. Recognized qualifications, successfully completed a bachelor's from an accredited university, all of the other information. But number one, completed senior secondary schooling from a designated country where the medium of instruction was English. End of story. You are going to be waived if you have studied in English and you want to go study at University of Queensland in Australia. Now moving on, the next one, we are still in Australia and we are going to be looking at the University of Sydney. University of Sydney. So we are on the page here. We have the English language requirements, how to demonstrate your English proficiency in English. Depending on your educational background and country of origin, you may need to provide evidence of your English proficiency to be able to study with us. First, your first language is English. So it says that if English is your first language, you need to have citizenship or permanent long-term residence and completed secondary education in an English-speaking country recognized by the university. They actually have a list of countries, and if you come down here, these are the list of countries. You have America, Samoa, Australia. If I look through, like, just for African countries, I see Kenya there, I see Gambia, I see South Africa, I see Zambia, I see Zimbabwe. Yes, those are the African countries that I can see there. I see Ghana also. So those are the countries. So please make sure that your country is included in the list before you know that it can be waived. If your country is not there, you will have to negotiate with them. And please do not give up on sending those emails to negotiate. Negotiate with them and tell them that you studied in English, okay? Please, please, please do well to negotiate. Alrighty, now let's move from Australia and let's go to the United States, and we are going to begin with Oklahoma State University. So we have here graduate college English proficiency for graduate admissions as a condition of admission to graduate study in OSU. All persons for whom English is a second language are required to present a proof of English competency. I cannot read to save my life. A waiver of this requirement can be obtained for students who have completed a baccalaureate or graduate program from an accredited institution of higher learning at which English is a primary language of instruction located in a country in which English is recognized as a primary language. Need I say more? End of story. So you all have studied in those English-speaking countries. Do well to submit. Waive. Tell them that you need a waiver and they are going to waive it. Moving on, we are still in the United States and we are going to be looking at the University of Houston. So here we have the English language proficiency requirements. All graduate applicants, regardless of citizenship, must demonstrate proficiency in English to obtain admission to the university. And then now, moving on, they talk about to fulfill these requirements, applicants must satisfy one of the following criteria. Then they have now a list of countries. A list of countries that if you are from any of these countries, then they are going to be waiving it. Look at it. At first sight, I can see Ghana, I can see Liberia, I can see Nigeria, I can see Zimbabwe, I can see South Africa. So look at it, make sure that your country is on the list. And if your country is not on the list, they have the Duolingo test, they have the Pearson test. You can also check those out if you don't want to write the IELTS or the TOEFL, okay? Now we are still going to move on and we are still in Canada. Oh no, we are moving on now from the United States and we are going to Canada. Now we begin with the University of Saskatchewan, okay? So it says here, English proficiency not required. English proficiency not required. Let's talk about it a bit in detail. Eligibility or exemption. The College of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies may waive the requirement to provide proof of English language proficiency for applicants who have completed a minimum of 3 consecutive years of study exclusively in English. Exclusively in English. I'm sure you all did your bachelor's program, your master's programs, all exclusively in English. So it doesn't matter. You all definitely go ahead, submit those documents and know that you are going to be waived of that. The next one we are going to be looking at is the University of Winnipeg, still in Canada. And let's go to the English language page. And we see here English language requirements. The language of instruction in the University of Winnipeg is English. Okay, fine. Now let's read some more. The English language requirement waiver options. In some instances, students may request a waiver for the English language program. And here you have, number 1, 10 consecutive years residency in Canada. We all do not have that. 3 years of full-time education in English at secondary or post-secondary levels in Canada. Okay, all of the ones that are for Canada, we do not meet those requirements. And then we will now come down to the list of countries that are exempt. So when you come here, you're going to see a list of countries. Check it. When I just say I see Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, let me see, Kenya, Kiribati, let me see, Botswana, British, okay, no, Jamaica, Guam. So you have Ghana. So there are a list of countries that they are going to be exempting. So please make sure that your country is on the list. And if it is on the list, you are going to be exempt from applying, like from submitting any proof of English. And if it is not, negotiate, you guys. Please do well to negotiate. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please consider subscribing to the channel. And please share this video with one person, a friend, a brother, a sister, an auntie, an uncle, someone in your local church, someone in your local community. Share this video with them. And also remember, I work with students one-on-one from the start of your scholarship application right through till the end. If you want to work with me, there's a link in the description box. Click on it, sign up, and I'm going to be happy to work with you. Until the next one, I'll see y'all then. Cheers.